Okay, welcome everyone, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all in today's PHENET IPPN Coffee session that is co-organized by the International Plant Phenotyping Network. And today's session or webinar is from ELIXIR. We talk about the research infrastructure ELIXIR within PHENET. So this is an excellent opportunity to engage in a dynamic discussion with our community of phenotyping and EnviroTyping expert and stakeholder. So I will briefly walk you through the agenda of today. As you noticed, the webinar starts at 10 and ends at 10:30. And I will give you a brief introduction about the aim of the webinar and PHENET. And then I will leave the floor to our speaker today, Sebastian Beier, to tell us about ELIXIR services of interest for our audience. And then we will have a Q&A session at the end. Let me give you an overview of PHENET and start by just a brief introduction. So PHENET is a European infratech project focusing on supporting agroecology and advancing plant phenotyping research and infrastructure. By bringing together cutting-edge technologies and collaborations across the different disciplines. And you see here within PHENET, we have 4 different research infrastructure that participate together. So emphasis European infrastructure for multi-scale phenotyping, and ELIXIR for analysis and experimentation on ecosystem. And we have ELIXIR as well, integrated European long-term ecosystem, critical zone and socio-ecological research. And today's speaker is from ELIXIR, coordinating bioinformatic resources from across Europe. So the aim of PHENET is to drive innovation in how we observe, measure, and understand plants under various environmental conditions, what we refer to as phenotyping and EnviroTyping. So the goal is to empower researchers, breeders, and industry stakeholders to leverage advanced phenotyping tools and ensure they have access to high quality, reliable data and expertise. And as you could see, as it's demonstrated here in this figure, we have several work packages that tackle different aspects of phenotyping and EnviroTyping. And I will not go through all these work packages as it will be discussed in detail in our webinars in November, organized by my colleague Roland Peruchka from Work Package 1, the lead of Work Package 1. So this is invitation for you to also register for the webinar, topic webinars in November. And here we are from Work Package 6, which we are responsible for the innovation and training within PHENET, with the work or activity in the context of maximizing the impact of PHENET with the aim to enhance scientific competitiveness of European research infrastructure by increasing the competencies of research infrastructure staff around current state-of-the-art toolboxes and next generation of scientific instrumentation. And this fall with the responsibility of our team member group responsible for training. So we have Jessica, Helena, Danielle, and Ellen. So feel free to reach out to them, and to us responsible for the innovation and external communication as well. And we also aim to increase the user base of research infrastructure around the next generation technologies and support cross-fertilization and development of innovation and innovative companies based on the next generation technologies. So, so these technologies are developed in the different use cases within PHENET, and hence we created a platform for innovation. We call it Let's Innovate Together Hub. And we invite you all to join us and discuss together new ideas to promote innovation within our community. And the aim of today's session is we'll focus on three main objectives. The first one is to inform the broader community about the phenotyping and EnviroTyping services available through PHENET and the PHENET participating research infrastructures. And these services are crucial for advancing our understanding of plant behavior in different environmental contexts. The second aim is that we learn and discuss with the speaker today, so with the best Sebastian Beier, how the ELIXIR services can be utilized by our community. So we encourage open dialogue and questions at the Q&A session, and we ask you to participate at the end, save your questions, and we ask after the talk. And finally, we aim to trigger your thinking about the integrating PHENET technologies into the different research infrastructures we have and into ELIXIR service portfolio to create synergies that enhance both platforms or all platforms within PHENET. And before I hand the floor to Sebastian, I'm happy and excited to introduce Sebastian to our audience today. So Sebastian has a diverse background in both technical and biological sciences. He studied technical and business mathematics at the Technical University of Berlin before switching to bioinformatics, biosystem technology, at the University of Applied Science, Wildau. At his early career stage, he worked at IPK Guttersleben and was dedicated to the barley sequencing project. He was working on sequencing and assembly of barley genomes and chromosomes. And in 2017, he pursued PhD in biology at the University of Bielefeld, while expanding his sequencing research at IPK to other cereals like wheat and rye. And since 2019, he joined ELIXIR and DIMBY, where he was elected and still holds the position of co-lead for the plant sciences community. And Sebastian then joined Björn Usdal's group at Research Centrum Jülich as a postdoc, and his research focuses on data management and bioinformatics, and also continuing his work at ELIXIR as ELIXIR officer within the DMB network. Most recently, he was elected to the advisory board of the breeding API in 2023. So his research interests span a wide array of fields, including omics, data integration, fair research data management, and pangenomics. Sebastian, it's a pleasure to have you today, and I hand you the floor.
So today I will be talking a little bit about ELIXIR and what kind of services does ELIXIR offer. But maybe first I will, before I start, this will not be a complete list of everything that ELIXIR has to offer, but just a small fraction, because also talking about individual tools might be too much for this limited time. So what is ELIXIR actually? So ELIXIR is an intergovernmental organization that brings together life science resources from 24 countries at the moment. And mostly we focus on databases, software and tools, training, interoperability resources. What this means, I will maybe talk a little bit later, compute resources and data management support. And we do this, of course, to build and sustain life science informatics capacity and infrastructure within Europe. We do this to connect and also develop a network of experts and provide high quality services and resources. As you can see in this schematic on the right, the area of expertise is quite broad in ELIXIR, not only plant science, but also human data related, and also other parts of the life science are taken care of within ELIXIR. ELIXIR strives to answer some of the societal challenges that are currently ongoing, such as climate change, sustainable food production, or diminishing biodiversity through data-driven solutions. And what does this mean? We actually build up our people networks, our experts within ELIXIR, try to build up data resources by connecting different databases and building interfaces, and also providing answers with our scientific researchers in regards to these challenges. What do we offer in this term to outside partners and also within the ELIXIR network is we provide guidelines and best practices to help manage life science data, run training courses, and develop software. We offer also web portals where you can find, for example, write software for an experiment that you are running, training courses again, standards, how to actually display your data and how to connect this. Individual services are also part of the portfolio. And we also enable people within our network a partnership with industry through joint events and projects that bring both the private and public sector together. One of the cornerstones is, of course, working together and the opportunity to do so. We are enabling scientists within ELIXIR to knowledge exchange programs and joint events. One cornerstone, I would say, for ELIXIR is our training platform, which not only wants to strengthen national training programs, but also connects different national training programs on the European scale, with the agenda of building up training capacity and competence across Europe, which then, of course, empowers researchers to use not only ELIXIR services, but in general are enabling them to be more efficient in their day-to-day work. What kind of training do we offer? Our main focus is on workshops in face-to-face, hybrid or online settings. However, certain countries offer also summer and spring schools for early career scientists, train-the-trainer events where people are built up to be instructors in such courses. We also offer a system called TESS, the training e-support system, where our training material is linked and also indexed. And we are working also on learning paths, so subsequent different learning events that build up on each other to cater to different knowledge levels. So for beginners, for intermediate, experts, and professionals at the higher end. We measure not only our training, but also our services through KPI, so key performance indicators, where we strive to collect feedback data and also build up then, of course, knowledge about how we can improve services and training. The other big cornerstone for ELIXIR is, of course, research data management. And there we have built up many different resources, and I want to highlight here 3 of those. This is the RDM kit, which is a bird's eye overview about good data management practices, where we collect different parts of the data life cycle and display this to interested parties. Then we have the FAIR Cookbook, which is a more detailed step-by-step instruction guide on how to actually implement those data management practices that you have seen in the RDM kit. And we also provide an online tool for data management planning, the so-called Data Stewardship Wizard, where we have this online platform that can, in collaborative form, guide you through data management planning. Where do I come actually into play is I'm one of the elected co-leads, as Heba already mentioned, of the ELIXIR Plant Science community. And we are mainly focused in Sustainable Tool Federation and data management, where we try to encourage our users in adopting standards within the plant sciences. We also are heavily involved in developing community recommendations and best practices and building up data portals for users for this field. We are often asked to help with the data integration and analysis pipelines, where we have built up quite a large network of experts, and also do a lot of training events in this field. And more in regards to plant data, one of the, let's say, leading challenges that we were confronted when we started with our work was the different data types in phenomics, genetics, genomics and omics data, and environmental data, and how disparate these data sets were. When we, for example, look at the phenomics part, we have very much dispersed data archives. So you don't have a centralized data archive where you find all the different data sets. You have to usually search through different user interfaces. The data is very heterogeneous, so not everything is described in the same granularity. And also the metadata of these is very much heterogeneous and not standardized. However, there are efforts to do that. When we look at environmental data, this is very much the same situation. And opposite to this, we see that in the genomics field, we have mostly centralized data archive, for example, the ENA, the European Nucleotide Archive, where a lot of sequencing data is deposited. And one thing that we see here is that the data itself is very homogeneous, however, heterogeneous metadata in regards to the description of the data sets. I will just briefly go over what ELIXIR plant services are available. We are having a couple of different pillars to this. One is, of course, genome analysis, where we have tools to do different kind of analysis on the genome of our plant genomes, like investigating the repeat content, having possibility annotate genomes, or making pangenomics comparisons. We also have phenotyping systems in our portfolio, such as FIS or PIPA. If I will not go into detail on this, however, if you have some questions, maybe just ask them afterwards. We are also enabling scientists in using databases and archive, for example, the EDI system for plant genomics and phenomics data as a long-term storage alternative. We are working with Ensemble and EBI directly to make also metadata and search functionality, improving on that. I mentioned already research data management. We are very active there. One up-and-coming aspect is knowledge graphs, where we are working with experts in the field, for example, with NetMiner, AgroLD, and also Stress Knowledge Map, connecting different knowledge graphs together and trying to facilitate data discovery and knowledge discovery. As mentioned, we are very active in standard development and maintenance, for example, the minimal information about plant phenotyping experiments, or also the breeding API, but also work on file and interface representation of data using, for example, ISA and Arrow crates. We are also having a search portal installation called FERDER, which is run by Cyril Pommier and his team, where they connect different agronomically important data sets from all over the world and index those. ELIXIR is also providing a very large compute infrastructure to every every academic user using the Use Galaxy platform, which has a dedicated set of more than 2,500 different well-documented and constantly maintained scientific tools available for everyone that logs into their system. And every user is getting a quota of 250 gigabyte and ELIXIR members itself do have double of those. So it's worth checking out what we provide there, also for you probably. As an example, I mentioned also the RDM kit and the data lifecycle. So when we look at the data lifecycle, for example, this goes from data planning to collecting of data sets, processing, analyzing, preserving, sharing, and reusing. And when we look at this life cycle, we have also recommendation if you're working, for example, in plant genomics, how to actually support this with the tools that we provide. Similarly, we also have some guidelines and recommendation when you're using phenotypic analysis. Apart from the more data management side of what I just mentioned, we are also providing guidance on service bundles. And we understand the service bundles as connecting different scientific tools together for a common use case. So an example of this would be the interoperability and flow between genomics data tools displayed here on the right, where some of the ELIXIR tools are chained together to actually build up a workflow that can be used in day-to-day analysis. We do all of this, of course, for a greater goal to increase research efficiency, also to enable and disseminate new knowledge on research infrastructure, bioinformatics research, and related guidelines through benefits derived by working together in this larger network, and also to enable sustainability of our infrastructure. And with this, I'm already at the end of my brief presentation. I hope I could at least give you an impression of what we can offer within the frame of PHENET and ELIXIR as a whole. Yes, I thank you for your attention, and I'm open for questions.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. You were very good in time.